the presidency of Donald Trump. What does it mean for the future of America and the world? Because everyone is impacted. How do we reimagine governance when policies are enacted not just through consensus, but confrontation? Can nationalism and global diplomacy truly exist? Can they coexist? Or are we entering a new era in America of isolationism? Welcome to another episode of our Imagine Greater podcast. I'm Michelle Bethel-Gibson, your host, and of course, I'm excited to talk to you about this amazing topic. You see, as of March 27th, 2025, President Donald Trump is serving for his second term. Yes, if the world hasn't known it, he's here, front and center. This episode will address disruption in democracy and the road ahead. His return to office has reignited the debate, reshaped policy. It has sent a ripple effect across both the domestic and international landscapes. That's what it has done. So today we're unpacking the presidency of Donald Trump. Not just the policies, but the paradigm shifts. And most importantly, we're asking, what does it mean for the future of America and the world? Because everyone is impacted, right? So let's start at home with the United States. The Trump administration wasted no time in introducing aggressive tax reforms aimed at jumpstarting the economy. Corporate tax cuts, incentives for domestic investments, and deregulations across key industries. Now, at the same time, Trump reignited trade wars, this time targeting who? China, Mexico, Canada, and the EU. The message? America first again. But global retaliation wasn't far behind, creating uncertainty in the markets and friction with key allies. And on immigration, Trump doubled down. And everyone is feeling it, right? Increase in deportation, heightened border security, and tightened asylum restrictions have led to legal challenges and human rights debates that continue to divide the nation. Now let's pause and ask this question. How do we reimagine governance when policies are enacted not just through consensus, but confrontation? Trump's governance is through confrontation. Foreign policy. Let's talk about foreign policy for a minute. A new global posture. Internationally, Trump has taken a move fast and break things approach. Have you ever been in your house moving fast, trying to get things done faster than you thought you could do it, and then all of a sudden everything come crumbling down? I know I have. That is the approach that President Donald Trump has taken, with scaling down the U.S. involvement in long-term global conflicts while investing in more aggressive defensive posture. This pivot has led to a realignment across NATO and strained relations with long-term partners. It's a bold strategy, but one has to ask this: can nationalism and global diplomacy truly exist? Can they truly exist? Can nationalism and global diplomacy truly exist? Can they coexist? Or are we entering a new era in America of isolationism? I know that's a word now. That's a word that is relevant to what's going on. Isolationism. You see, Trump's administration is no stranger to the courtrooms. His policies on immigration and executive authority have faced judicial blocks and reversal, reinforcing, if not testing, the strength of our checks and balances. Who's checking? Who's doing the checks and balances here if the judicial has no teeth? Tensions between executive branch and the judiciary have escalated, with Trump's openly criticizing judges How do you criticize the people who are supposed to enforce and maintain law and order? And yet, courts have stood for him. No matter what Trump has said, the Supreme Court judges, listen, they have real backbone and they're holding for him. Question, is this a testament to America's institutional strength or a warning sign about its fragility? That's a question we must consider and we must marinate on. Is this a testament to America's institutional strength or a warning sign about its fragility? So let's talk about public perception and the media war. Approval ratings remain deeply polarized. And truly, as a podcaster, I am really surprised by this. Supporters hail his decisive leadership. I remember John Maxwell says this, everything rises and falls on leadership, but the public is hailing his decisive leadership. Critics fear his erosion of norms. And then there's the media. The relationship between Trump and the press remains antagonistic, to say the least, fueling debates on free speech, fake news, and who gets to control the narrative. Has Trump forced a reckoning of the media bias and digital censorship, or has he just deepened the divide? You decide. Has Trump forced a reckoning with media biases and digital censorship, or has he just deepened the divide? Only time will tell on this one. But here's what we can learn. Now let us zoom into this. This isn't just about Trump. It's about us not just in the U.S., but it's about us as an entire global entity, a world. The country of the United States, the culture, the citizens, everything, everyone is being impacted by President Trump's leadership. Let's talk about reframing the political norms. Trump's leadership isn't just unconventional. It's what? Disruptive. Now, in some cases, people could call it a beautiful disruption, right? But in other cases, it can be a downright nightmare, right? Some call it lawless, but disruption often reveals what is broken. You see, while we are all about debating what he did wrong, what he didn't do right, what he shouldn't do, how he's breaking the law, one thing that is revealed is what is broken is coming out. So, has Trump exposed vulnerabilities that might actually lead to long-term institutional reform? That's one. Has his outsider success encouraged a new generation of diverse, non-traditional leaders to step up? These are the questions that we will be continuing to answer. Economic shifts and innovation, has his tax cuts and his deregulation were born from some industries, And his trade wars may have unintentionally sparked a push toward economic self-sufficiency and innovation. Get that? No longer relying on government, but relying on you to take your own economic stability in your own hands and see how you can innovate, see how you can be self-sufficient without the involvement of government. And isn't that how society expands? Isn't that how society gets better? Don't you want to stop from being given a fish to being innovative and thinking how you could create your own fish, how you can come out and think differently? Could this economic turbulence lead to a more resilient domestic focus for the economy in the long run? Or has the public awareness around economic issues grown because of the chaos? Has it? Has your awareness around the economic issues grown out of this chaos? A beautiful disruption, I'm calling it. So let's talk about cultural and social awakening. You see, Trump's presidency has been a cultural earthquake, hasn't it? Hasn't it just shaking us out of our norms? But every quake brings fault and lines into view. Has the divisiveness forced Americans, forced the world to confront uncomfortable truths about democracy, about race, and about power? Has it awakened a new wave of civic activism, especially among young people? I love me some Gen Z. and they are becoming even more awake than any other generation. And marginalized community, has it awakened a new wave of civic activism, especially among young people and marginalized communities? Has it? Has it changed for the Latino community? Has it changed for the African American community? Has it changed for everyone who is feeling marginalized? Has it awakened a new wave? The unexpected benefit of this controversy is sometimes a controversy is fertilizer for progress. Sometimes controversy is fertilizer for progress. Could the backlash of Trump's leadership be the very thing that strengthens the civic engagement that strengthens literacy, that strengthens political participation? Has the chaos revealed new paths forward, new voices, new possibilities for reform, not just in the United States, but throughout the world? Has Trump caused us to change and imagine differently, imagine better, and create a better USA, but not just USA, but a better world? Has it? And forge new paths forward? So let us reflect on the bigger picture. Let's be honest. This presidency, like the first, has shaken the foundations of America and the world politics. But here's the question we're asking at Imagine Greater. Is this controversial chapter? Is this just a controversial chapter or a true turning point? If we imagine greater, what could emerge? Stronger civic education, a more informed, active electorate, leadership that values truth as much as tenacity, institution that adopts and evolve rather than crumble under pressure. You see, Trump didn't just change policy. He changed the conversation. Look at us. We're talking about this on this podcast right now. He changed the conversation. And while the dust hasn't settled, we can already see the outlines of the new political terrain. So whether you view this era as a warning or wake-up call, what matters most is what we do with it. Now that we know better, we do better, right? Today, I want you to imagine a better world in politics, a better world in your family, a better world in your business, a better way of thinking of how you can take this disruption and turn it into a beautiful reinvention of you, of your life, of your family, of your business, of everyone who's assigned and associated with you. Imagine a better world from right where you are. This has caused us to think outside the box. In fact, this has caused us to create a new box, to think differently, to imagine better. I want to thank you for joining with me today on this podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, to leave a review, to share this podcast, this episode with someone who's ready to go deeper than just the headlines. Until next time, let's keep imagining greater. Let's keep asking ourselves the hard questions and keep showing up for the future that we have imagined and believe to be greater than we ever expected it to be. Thank you. Bye for now.